Hello, everyone, this is Tim here again. Here's a different video this time. This time I kind of want to talk about race and what is racism really, or not so much what is racism, but kind of how to defeat racism. I don't do political videos or SJW videos. I'm neither like in the right or the left in terms of politics. I'm not in the right or the left in terms of politics. I really have no interest in politics. Both the right and the left, liberals and conservatives, are both very flawed systems. But this is a topic I see so much in society, and I wanted to do a video about it because I hate racism. I do. Racism is terrible, and that goes for black people that are racist, or white people that are racist, or anybody that's racist. Racism is sick. It is a sickening disease that needs to be killed. It is, and it's still around today. It's sick. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's still here, and it's gotten worse in other ways and gotten better in some ways, but it's still terrible. Absolutely terrible. Racism is sick. Now people just kind of hide it better. But racism is absolutely atrocious. And it still goes on very strongly for different races. Now, just like on the whole topic of racism, it's always a touchy subject, especially race. Like a couple years ago, there was the Bill Maher thing with him using the N-word in a comedy joke. And you had Ice Cube later on there. Now I like Ice Cube. I like his music. As an actor, he's only so-so. His music is cool. In terms of his rebuttal of the way that he was talking to Bill Maher about racism and things like how it feels different when a white person says the N-word than it does when a black person says it. That's true. I would say that is true. But what really matters is context and how you're using the word. Bill Maher is a comedian. He used the word in not an offensive way, just to be funny when he used it. But still, he got castrated because of it. And that's not right. It shouldn't be that way. Real equality, in my opinion, this whole video is just my opinion. I'm not out to offend anyone or do anything to rustle any feathers. This is just my opinion on racism, nothing more. Real equality to me is all races being allowed to make the same jokes and being allowed to use the racial slurs or same slurs or whatever in context of something that, obviously is comedy. Not to be used negatively. Now, Chris Rock, who's a comedian I really like, and I saw him live on stage make a joke about dead white kids. Now, to a lot of people, that's going to be extremely offensive. Now, one of the main reasons that's going to be extremely offensive because if a white person had made a joke about dead black children, about needing more dead black children, or whatever it was that Chris Rock said. It's been a long time since I heard the joke. Now, the joke was funny. I'm totally fine with him saying the joke, but it is a double standard. If a white person had used that joke, he would be castrated. His show would be gone. Gone. Dead. Now, is that equality? No. The way Ice Cube said it was like, if a white person uses the word, it must mean like deep down inside that maybe he wants to use the word to be racist or to say it. That's not true, because that would go for black people as well and any other race. I mean, deep down inside, when a black person makes a comedy joke about dead white kids or crackers, so calling white people that, does that mean that deep down inside he's racist for whites? No, of course not. No, that's stupid, and I would never agree to that. So it has to work the same way with white people. When a white person makes a joke about using the N-word, okay, you can tell when that is a comedy joke. You can tell when someone's being offensive. It's all in the tone of the way they say it and how they use it in context. That's what matters. Not whether they say it or not. Like Samuel Jackson. I got a lot of respect for him. He was talking about Quentin Tarantino, how he uses the N-word a lot in his movies, and Quentin Tarantino does. You can argue sometimes it's overused. Yes, I agree. It probably is overused in some of his movies. But he never uses it in a way to where you really think he's racist. He's using it because it's appropriate for his characters, and he likes to do extreme exploitation flicks. It makes sense in the context of Tarantino's films, and Samuel Jackson knows that. And he's perfectly okay with white people using the word as long as it's used appropriately. And that's fine. I support that. I'm with Samuel Jackson on that. If you want equality, it has to be that way. Real equality has to be that way. If we want to end racism, we need to stop treating it as a black or a white thing and just have it as a universal thing. We are all people, regardless of the color of our skin. We need to stop separating ourselves based upon the color of our skin. Just look at each other as human beings. My family is mixed race. I have a black niece. White girl, black mixed, niece. And I love her to death. I love my family. We get along just fine. Just fine, being blacks and whites. We are absolutely fine. I don't understand why other people have such problems doing that. Some people, it's just like hardwired in their, well, I wouldn't say hardwired, just that's what they've been taught to do is just hate other people of different races. And it's horrible. It's sick. It is totally sick. To anybody who hates somebody because of the color of their skin, whether it be a black guy that does it, or a white guy that does it, or a white woman that does it, or a black woman that does it, whatever, you are fucked in the head. You need help. Seriously. Because that is sick. Racism is the lowest form of humanity I've pretty much, in my opinion, other than rapists and murderers, honest to God. I despise racism. But if we want real equality all over the world, we need to treat people equally. And it's true, black people still majorly suffer from the way they are treated by some white people. It is other races will look down on certain black people because of the way they dress. They'll think they're gangsters or whatever, even though it's just a fashion. It really doesn't mean anything. That's like racial profiling, which shouldn't be done either. But black people still have it really rough. I mean, they still have it rough. They do. But it's gotten to a point now where it's even getting rough on certain white people. And that's nowhere near as rough on white people as on black people. I'm not going to claim it is. It's not. But it is getting annoying about how we preach about equality and then pretend we want to support it, but we really don't. And the conservatives and the liberals both do this. And I'm pointing them out because that's the two that everybody talks about. Everybody talks about liberals, SJWs, extremists, who try to push it forward, like how people say all the time that liberals want equality. What they really want is just everything to be censored. And that is true from a lot of liberals. Extremist liberals, not all liberals. There's lots of good liberals, not liberals. I lean more towards the left than I do the right. I'm more of a liberal, really. If you have to peg me down, I'm more of a liberal. But there are a lot of problems with liberal extremists. And there's a lot of problems with conservatives, too. Like, not being for abortion. I mean, if you're not for abortion, I respect that. I have nothing against your right to be not for abortion or for abortion. That's fine. But me personally, I'm for abortion because women should have the right to abort if they want to with their bodies. They should have the right. But all that aside, if we want real equality, like I don't understand why, and even separate things to the right or the left, that's stupid too. We're all people. We should know the right thing and just do it. Whether we vote on it or not is fine, but we should just do it. Do the right thing. If we want real equality, have real equality. You cannot allow one set of comedians to use one word and the other set of comedians not to. That's not equality. What matters is context and how you're using it and what you're trying to say with it. If you're making normally a comedian, whether he be white, black, when he uses a racial slur, if he makes a joke using it, it will be because he's trying to prove a point about politics or racism in general, about what one race has to suffer. And it'll be a good point. And it normally works. And that's cool. If you can do like a political stance while being funny at the same time, you will really get your point across. If you're just using racist words to be mean, I will never support somebody like that. As far as I'm concerned, if you are a racist, you are, like I've already said before, you're less than fly shit, in my opinion. But if you're using the word just to put a point across and because you're a comedian to be funny, like Bill Maher did, and you trashing him because of that, you have lost your credibility in what you're trying to say. It's not that you're dumb, it's just that you're wrong. Maybe you feel like what you're saying is right, but you're wrong. Now, you have to look, and Ice Cube made a good point about what he was saying as well in the interview. Like he was saying, you have to look at it from the black people's point of view too. You know, hearing a white person say the word is probably tough and probably hurtful. That's true. But I feel like when we hear the racist words, at this point in our lives and in our nation, we have to look past the word and focus on the context of what the person is trying to say, because that's more important. And it is, in my opinion. It's what meaning does the word have behind it. Like when a black person says, the N-word to each other, that could be looked at as being looked down upon. And them, like another black guy looking down upon that black guy by calling him that word as an insult. Because some black people do use it as an insult to other black people. And it could be looked down like that. And I understand that. But it's all about the context. It's about the context of why you're using it and what you're trying to say with it. That's what I think is important. So I just made this random video because I kind of wanted to get this off my chest because I've been seeing so much back and forth between racism and races. We need to move past this as a species. We should move past this. The color of the skin does not make you who you are. What you do defines who you are and what kind of person you are. Your heritage, your race, if that's important to you, that is great. And I think that is a good thing to be important to somebody, but it doesn't define who you are. What you do as a person will show who you are and what you stand for. And if you truly stand for equality, if we really as a nation want equality, we have to start really going for true equality. That's just my point of view.